because I'm a potato.
Hello and welcome to this special video for TSA TV in which we're going to be taking a look at Ubisoft's Rocksmith 2014 edition. This is kind of a game, it's kind of a teaching tool or learning software. It's going to teach you how to play one of these. Now this is not the guitar which comes with the game if you buy the pack. I think that retails for about £160. I think if you buy that, the guitar you get isn't this one. This is a Epiphone Les Paul Special 2. The guitar that you actually get with the game is kind of like a slightly cut back version of this. Now Epiphone is a company owned by Gibson. Gibson makes some of the best guitars in the world. Epiphone is like their budget range, their beginner range, and Epiphone makes some of the best beginner guitars in the world. So this is really the ideal company, the ideal product to partner with for software that's going to teach you how to play the guitar. And that's really what Rocksmith is. We're going to take a look at it in a moment, but basically it's software which can appeal to you if you're a beginner learning to play the guitar, if you've never picked up a guitar in your life. This talks you through the basics from fixing the strap on to how you hold it to what the strings are called and how to tune the guitar. You can tune the guitar within the software. If you're an intermediate, there are things to sort of maybe learn some slightly more complex techniques and skills. If you're an absolute master at the guitar, then you might just want this to show off. I'm sure there are some bits and pieces in here that might help you to learn to be a better guitar player. After all, we're always learning. I play the guitar a little bit. I'm not an expert, but I can play a little bit. I sort of know what the terms are, but for the purposes of this, we're starting at the very basic level. We're starting at the complete novice. Never played a guitar before. Now, if you don't want to spend £160 on this software, nobody's going to blame you for that. You can just buy a copy of the disc. That's I think that retails at standard price. It'll be like £40 or £50. They all come with a lead, which has it has a USB plug on one end, so that bit plugs into your console, and then the other end is a 1/4-inch jack which just plugs into the bottom of the guitar. That interprets everything that you play on the guitar and lets it get into the game. So if you can get a guitar from somewhere else, if you have maybe a family member has one, maybe there's one in a cupboard that hasn't been touched in years, maybe get on eBay and pick up a cheap one, you can do this for a lot cheaper than the sort of the basic pack that they sell you with a guitar. And any guitar at all works with it. It works with any electric guitar that plugs in and also with bass guitars. So let's have a look at the software and we'll see what it does.
When you first load up Rocksmith, you'll be asked your level of expertise. The software will then present you with lessons for that level of skill. For the purposes of showing it to the widest possible audience, and because there was significant lag between strings and screen while the screen capture device was running, I've set this up as a complete novice. Next up, you're asked what track you'd like to take through the game. You can choose between lead, rhythm or bass guitar, and again the game adapts the content it presents to you based on that choice. Once that's all out of the way, you can follow the tips and do the lessons and tasks that the software advises, or you can jump straight in and start exploring the menus a bit for yourself. If you're upgrading to this version of the software from the previous Rocksmith, you'll be able to import all of your tracks for a one-off fee, but what comes on this disc is plenty to get you up and strumming. The lesson starts super basic. If you can't work out how to attach a guitar strap or how it's supposed to rest on you when you're sitting down, then you should probably turn off the console and step away from the electricity. It's nice that they aim to start basic, but even a drummer would be able to skip some of these lessons, and we all know what they say about drummers. It ramps up nicely though. There's some stuff in there that would likely tax even those of you who know your pentatonic from your Dorian. Let's have a quick look at how the game actually plays. As you can see, it makes use of the familiar note highway system of delivering notes to you. Never having been a fan of the Guitar Hero or Rock Band games, it took me a while to adjust to the way the notes approach you, and playing through a setup that introduces a little bit of lag certainly doesn't help. Playing normally, I was much better than this. Honest. There were some times that felt like the software was simply not detecting the notes I was playing, but on the whole it was extremely impressive. It should also be fairly obvious that since this works by detecting the note you're playing rather than simple button presses, you will fail notes if your guitar goes out of tune while you're playing a song. The game has a seemingly dynamic system of encouraging you onwards. Once you've achieved one little aspect of playing, you're gently pushed into exploring the next skill you're going to need to play the songs. Even during the course of playing those songs, the software is paying attention. Get lots perfectly right and it'll start to turn up the complexity of the part of the song you're playing. At first it's a simple note every bar or so, and then it builds so that eventually you're playing it all along with the on-screen action and you don't remember learning it. The idea is, it seems, that it's only a matter of developing that muscle memory before you can play without the TV switched on at all. There are some quirky little arcade games that help you hone your skill and offer a bit of the competitive aspect too. It's a smart idea and something that adds a little bit of extracurricular fun to proceedings, even while still getting you to practice. One other hugely impressive element is the tone builder. This emulates a huge number of effects pedals, amps, cabinets and rack effects so that you can build your own sound. You can then play through the console and have your TV, or preferably your sound system or headphones, amplify your guitar in the way that you've created. That's especially fun for the session mode, where you can play along and jam with virtual session musicians. Basically, you play to a tempo and you pick accompanying instruments that are automatically played along with you. It's not going to turn you into The Who, but it does add a bit of variation and some extra layers to your jamming while you're just practicing. Rocksmith probably doesn't quite replace a one-on-one guitar teacher, but it comes closer than anything I've ever seen before, and it does it for the price of just a couple of lessons. In many ways, Rocksmith is the antithesis of something like Guitar Hero, rather than an evolution of it. Where Guitar Hero and Rock Band were games that pretended to have a relationship with playing guitar, Rocksmith is more like a guitar teacher that pretends to be a game. So while it's difficult to call this a video game, it uses plenty of gamey elements to dress up the fact that it's actually quite a remarkable learning tool. Will it teach you to play guitar from scratch? I have no doubt that it will, if you give it the time needed and put the work into practice. If I was a guitar teacher, I think I might be looking at this and getting a little bit worried.
So that was Ubisoft's Rocksmith 2014 edition. Hopefully that gave you a good idea of what it is and what it does and what it can do for you if you want to learn to play the guitar, or if you play the guitar and just want to brush up on your skills a bit. Obviously I've been playing this for a couple of hours now, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm clearly a rock god now, so I'm off to snort some coke off of a prostitute's backside. Cheerio!